Hello, everybody. I'm back. Oh my gosh. Happy Monday, everybody. Gosh, what time is it? It's 12:30 here in Pacific time in California. I've really missed you. It's been such a long time since I've been here mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that jazz. Um, I know that some of you are on my email list and you got an email from me yesterday kind of explaining my 7-week hiatus. I like to call it my sabbatical, my Sabbath. But I wanted to share some of the things that I learned in the last 7 weeks. And I wanted to kind of put this all in relationship to how we can better align with our brands. All right, so I have like my notes because there's so many things that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share, like how I got burned out by not being aligned with my brand, what I did during my re-energizing 7 weeks, and what I've learned to become more aligned with myself that hopefully can inspire you if you kind of feel like you're maybe not 100% aligned. Hey, Latoya, how are you? I know we've been talking a lot about belief systems, and gosh, I have finally come to some spiral recognition of those belief things. And instead of trying to avoid and push them away, we are going to now love and embrace them. Yes. So I don't know if anybody here who's been burned out before me. And so one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned from being burnt out and taking this time off is about setting intentions. We're all so goal oriented, right? We are making all these intentions. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to deliver this. I'm going to launch this. And sometimes our intentions are actually clouded. Yay, thanks, Latoya. And what I learned was that most of my intentions that I was setting for myself were not really aligned with myself because of the big should, right? Listening from the outside. But I'm going to circle back to that because I want to talk first about burnout, because that shit's real. And oh my gosh, thanks, Eleanor. That shit's real with the burnout, and I don't know, it just made me go sideways. I noticed first, probably went into burnout probably back in February. If I look back on it, right, like 2020, we all have like perfect vision, but like say in February is when I really started going sideways, when I started feeling kind of depressed, really unmotivated, very like unclear and cloudy as to where I was going next with my business. I could feel like that my customers were also maybe feeding off of that energy, right? Because we're all energetic beings. We know when somebody is not totally right. Right. And so when this was happening to me, probably from February to June, I was procrastinating a lot. I wasn't really showing up with my customers. I was showing up. I was like, hi, I'm here. But like I wasn't like really in the moment. I felt myself catching myself like comparing a lot. I caught myself questioning everything that I was doing. And I wish I had known earlier that those were all just symptoms of burnout, right? We all go through burnouts at different places in our lives, and other people, depending on their human design, depending on their astrology, depending on where their Saturn and their Mars placement, people react to burnout in different ways, and people get out of burnout in different ways. People take longer or less time to recover from burnout. Now, because I had been pretty much burning all of my edges for so long, I thought I was like, oh, I'm going to take a couple of weeks, sabbatical is going to be fine. But no, I took 7 weeks. It took me 7 freaking weeks to come out of burnout. And while I was on the 7 weeks, it wasn't like I was just, eating bonbons and watching Netflix. I did that in the last week, just 1 week of eating bonbons and, or drinking beer rather, and watching Netflix. But I did a lot of personal soul searching. I was feeling that self-doubt, and who here has suffered from self-doubt, that nagging feeling like, am I doing things right? Am I really worth it? Is what I'm trying to put out there really valuable? This self-doubt for me tackle self-doubt and get rid of it once and for all, right? And what I learned was that self-doubt was this huge teacher. Self-doubt it took me 7 weeks to come to this realization, okay? So in 7 weeks, I went on 3 different journeys. I'm all over the place. Forgive me. I'm a little bit rusty with my lives and being super clear. Um, while I took 3 different journeys while I was on my break to come to the realization that self-doubt was my friend. It only took 7 weeks, right? So the first trip I took was at this beautiful retreat in Taos, New Mexico with another cohort of mine, Natalie Miller. She's really awesome. And she gave me this opportunity to teach a couple of workshops at her retreat. So I was part doing and I was part retreating, but ultimately it was still a work of like, oh, show up, do this, show up, do that. Okay, that's fine. But I wasn't really spending time to reflect yet. Then the second week of my trip, this is where I think the biggest pivot and catalyst happened. I might have mentioned that I took some magic mushrooms. I went on an intentional mushroom journey because I had in my mind that the mushrooms were going to give me all of the answers as to how to figure out what my role was and what self-doubt had to play. While yes, the mushrooms did give me a sense of what was going on, it definitely served as a catalyst to open a lot of different doors that I was able to explore and dig further in. If anybody wants to hear about a mushroom journey, I probably will spend a whole nother live about my journey and what I learned in my journey, because I think it's super exciting. Anybody here done psychedelics for, not recreational, just like for therapy? I've done a lot of drugs in my youth for recreation. I'm happy to say that I did it because it was an experience that really added. But then doing medicines, psychedelic medicines with a clear intention really open my eyes to a whole new world of how to do things and how often we're working against ourselves. And I'm going to go through some of these things too. So that was my second journey. It was a mushroom journey. I did a mushroom therapist took me on a guided session with mushrooms. Girl is sober. Good. I think sober is better. This was for medicine. So after that trip, which opened doors, it wasn't just the actual therapy session, the 4 hours that I was hallucinating and whatnot, was really just an opening of the doors. I felt that the mushrooms were reorganizing my body, my neuron structures. They were working really hard internally so that I could then understand all of these different, what I thought were challenges in my way. They actually have a lot of meaning, all right? After that, I went to Hawaii for 3 weeks. My family and I had intended to go for only 2 weeks. We were going to spend a week with my family on Oahu, and then I don't know if you're like me, but when I spend a week with family, I need a vacation from that. So then we went to the Big Island after that. I don't know if you've been up on the island of Hawaii. There's been a lot of protests lately. And we witnessed firsthand what has been going on in Hawaii and at the top of Mauna Kea, where people are trying to build an 18-foot telescope. I will share this later because I don't want to get off topic, but I wrote a big post on how all of this has made me so sad about our trespassing and our privilege and how we individually can check ourselves in order to be better people in the world, right? That's another story. I'm not going to get into that here. And then the third week, we were able to go to Maui just by chance. Had an extra week of vacation. My husband didn't have to be back. We decided to go to Maui, and I had 3 weeks of straight family time. No babysitters, no work, straight with my toddler and my husband, and that was eye-opening. After that, I needed 2 more weeks. I need so much time alone in order to re-energize. That I realized that my personal energy system. I'm not somebody that can just work. I work in spurts. I can get a lot of shit done, and then I need a ton of time to reflect and to relax and to re-energize. Now, I used to think that I was being lazy, and now I know that this isn't the case. So if we were to look at each of our individual human design in astrology, it's kind of another modality of astrology, but human design is about the vehicle, the energetic vehicle that we were brought into this world. So if our astrological natal chart is our treasure map, our brand map, if you're using it for business and for branding, if our natal chart is our roadmap of how and what we're going to be doing in this lifetime, our human design is our vehicle. It's our car, it's maybe our rocket ship, depending on who you are, on how you're going to get through your treasure map. And I'm a projector, and so projectors, I know Latoya is a projector. I don't know, Eleanor, if you're a projector, or Cynthia, if you're a projector, but projectors are the born advisors to the world, but they don't have an energy center of their own. So they can't just keep on going and going like manifestors or generators who have these innate energy centers, right? So as a projector, and if anybody here is a projector, our marketing strategies are different. Our energetic strategies of how we're going to deliver our content is different, right? And so when we can better align with what our human design is, then we will not suffer burnout, right? Maybe I wish I had learned this in February. Oh my goodness. Yes, my emoji things are not coming up, as I don't know exactly when it's coming up, but anyway, thank you for agreeing with that. Maybe since February, I could be upset that this was a lost cause for me, or I can be grateful that I learned everything and suffered burnout so that I could teach other people to recognize when they're going through burnout and have to recharge. Oh, great. So Eleanor, how do you find out what your human design is? So there's a really excellent website called, is it My Chart? Not My Chart. I'm going to look this up for you, and I will, I'm making a note. Eleanor, I have my human design chart from this woman named Karen Curry. You pop in the information, but her site, for whatever reason, takes like a couple of days to get you back your chart, whereas there's other chart that I'll find for you gets it back to you really quickly. And so human design is actually super exciting, and I'm really excited to bring it into my practice of reading and helping people align better to their brands, because human design is a combination between astrology, so you pop in all your time of birth and your place of birth. And it also is I Ching. So if you're familiar with the Chinese modality of healing and oracle reading called the I Ching, it uses that. And the I Ching has always been an amazing oracle for me, that more so than tarot cards for me personally. I always do I Ching to get some guidance. It also has a little bit to do with the chakra system. So it's this modality that was channeled to this guy in the 80s. I don't remember his name. He changed his name after he was channeled this information. And every time I hear something like that, I was like, okay, that's just like way off the deep end, something really woo. Somebody got channeled this information, but he actually channeled this information, created this new modality called human design, and it's been around since the 80s. And it's because of internet and because of Instagram, human design and astrology is really coming to the fore. I also thank you for being in the age of Aquarius. We are looking for this kind of insight, right? So with human design, just quickly to recap, there's kind of basically 5 energy types. There's the manifestors, there's generators, the manifesting generators, the projectors, and the reflectors. And each one has a different way of going through the world. And as a projector and as a reflector, there's other reflectors in this group, they get burned out really fast, right? So I would love to talk to you more about this if you're interested. So coming back, because I don't want to take up all of your time, I'm going to be coming back on burnout and how we can, all of us, use these 10 lessons to better realign ourselves to our brand's true north, right? Oftentimes we are looking to the outside. I know I always look to the outside. Oh, well, so-and-so must know better than me, or this internet guru must know what's best for me. But we can take the guidance and gather insight and like to help open up our insight from other gurus. But if we start doing things that the experts are telling us, right? That strategy worked well for them. Does it work well for me? I don't know. We're all different, right? So we have to know ourselves well enough to be able to say, yeah, that strategy is going to work for me, but this strategy isn't. Otherwise, we get caught up in this should. Well, that might be the case. The next few days is go through deep dive on each of the lessons that I've learned. And it all comes back to our belief system. We all have our beliefs, and we can't change a belief unless we know how we got those beliefs. And sometimes these beliefs serve us, they keep us in check, they keep us safe. And sometimes these beliefs don't keep us safe, right? So how can we change the narrative around that? Well, that's all I have for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be jumping off and talking about more, starting off with belief systems and self-doubt. I'm going to also be looking at a little bit about our 4 directions. 4 directions is a new freebie that I'm putting together. It's a compass that is going to align you to your true north. So that's all I have for today. Thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope to see you more this week. Bye.